Howdy folks, how are y'all doing? My name is Reese, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XVI, our Let's Play adventure, where, when we left off last time, we saw that we had 5 quests awaiting us, but then I turned around and noticed there's 2 more back there, so that's 7. Then I opened up the map and realized there's 3 more on the map. There are 10 side quests waiting us. We're gonna do them all, because we don't want to just, jump into the end of the game, having not experienced everything that this game has to offer. Oh, and then also this? Origin. You know. Origin. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, remember? You go in here and you... Yeah, it's a big flying thing, and you fight the main bad guy. Well, it's a little different in this game. It's not a big ball, it's a big spire called Origin, where we're gonna go and fight the bad guy. We'll get to that, don't worry about it. For right now, though, I figure it's time we focus on some side quests. And there's no place better to start than right here at our reading table, where we're gonna do a little reading. And 11 quests, because there's 2 in here. Who would have guessed? One of them's titled A Mood, which is funny. This one is A New Life. While the going was slow, and not without the occasional run-in with some straggling orc? Some straggling orc. I guess that's a word. I don't know why I'm so surprised by it. I saw Edda back safe to the Shadow Coast, where Mid was waiting kindly with the Enterprise. On the voyage home, I like to think the poor lass opened up a little, telling me about her life and the life she wants for her baby. I suppose it's up to us now to make certain the little one gets it. So that's the lass that we rescued last time from her village full of Akashic, where everyone was trying to, eat her flesh or whatever the Akashic do. She was pregnant. I'd like to think that her and Gav will get together. Gav will adopt the child and possibly raise him as his own. That would be beautiful. And they can all just retire and live in peace and comfort once we've defeated Zed back at Origin. In a mood. It's a mood, everyone. In case you haven't noticed, the poor hound spends all his time of late on the rear deck whimpering like Gav in his cups. Something ain't right with my gut tells me it's not to do with the supply of antelope bones. Karen. So clearly there's something wrong with our dog that we've not noticed. I don't think it's accurate. Torgal seems fine. He runs along with us in all of our little adventures. He seems to be a happy boy. I don't reckon there's actually any problems with him. We're also going to see what In Search of a Lost Tome. Reluctant as I am to add to your burdens, I would ask your aid in a personal matter, albeit one that may be beneficial to your cause. There exists ancient text deemed so injurious to modern thought that mere possession is deemed a crime. And it was a chance encounter with one such tome from a distance that sparked within me the scholastic curiosity which burns to this very day. I wish to enlist your aid in reclaiming that text. Should you require any further incentive, know that I am willing to offer compensation for your services rendered. Vivian. We love a banned book. No, we actually will accept that quest. I hit the wrong button.
Something tells me this is no mere adventure story.
No, it doesn't seem that way. It's probably a tale of the world as it was before, which we still don't have a whole lot of answers about, but hopefully we'll find out soon. So, with our verse of the day queued up, we now need to make a difficult decision. Do we go ahead and attend to the 2 quests we already have queued up, or should we go ahead and queue up all 7 quests and just have them all going at once? I think that that's chaotic, it's going to be difficult to keep track of, and it's going to be funny. First things first, let's make sure we're topped off on potions.
Aye, it's a dangerous world out there.
For a toy, absolutely. I'm not really concerned about the danger, though. What I'm concerned about is the fact that I'm down 6 potions.
Blind, you know.
And apparently that's it. Apparently we're doing fine with everything else, which is good to see. We need to get some music thumping in here. I mean, nothing against the song that's currently playing, but wouldn't it be more fun if we had Sand and Stone? Oh yeah, that sets the mood perfectly. Uncle Byron, what's up, buddy? 3's company, but 2 is a crowd.
My boy. Rutherford informs me that we owe you our thanks. Hadn't intended for you to get involved, but such are the times we live in, huh?
I would have done the same for anyone else.
You're far too modest, Clive. You'd make a terrible nobleman. But tell me, is the realm truly in as dire a state as Rutherford suggests?
From what little I saw, you were right to be worried.
I suppose I should have expected the worst. But I was rather hoping the great and good of the realm might have things a little more under control. Alas, it seems that firm leadership is in short supply these days, and without it, the people are bound to lose their way. We must move quickly.
But where do we start?
True, the challenges that face us are many, but in my estimation, there are two key areas to be addressed before any other. The realm's armies and her larders. As you've seen firsthand, it's every man and woman for themselves out there. Certain cities have banded together to try and maintain some semblance of order, yes, but such cases are few and far between. And yet, the only remedy for the chaos that faces us is unity. A unity that transcends even the borders laid down by our ancestors. In short, if Storm does not stand together, she will fall apart.
But how would one even begin to unite the realm?
The armies, my boy. As I told you already, we begin by restoring order among the ranks of those sworn to maintain it. Sadly, I doubt I could convince even the lowliest gaggle of privates to dig a latrine together. But I do know someone the High Commanders have been known to listen to on occasion. Field Marshal Eugen Havel.
I thought he was
Eugen?
retired.
He was, until an Akashic army tore through Randalar and killed most of the rank and file. There is no man alive more capable. Literally. And as luck would have it, I've already spoken with him on the matter.
Of course you have.
And he's agreed to help. On one condition. That he first speaks with you personally. Havel has always been a man of frustratingly rigid principle, and he has certain qualms about clasping arms with, well, with an outlaw. I extolled your many virtues as best I could, of course, but the old goat was adamant that he be allowed to appraise you in person.
He does know that I'm also, like,
mind, dear
royalty,
my boy?
right? Kind of. Son of the duchy. No longer heir apparent since our brother's not dead, but still.
Of course not. As long as chaos reigns, we will never build a better world. I'll do whatever it takes. And if the Field Marshal wishes to speak with me in person, then so be it.
That's the spirit.
I'll leave for Randalar at once. Would you send a Stolas?
Of course. Rutherford is already in the Dalmekian capital. I'll have him tell Havel to expect you forthwith.
Excellent. Thank you, Uncle.
No, thank you, Clive.
Alright, so here's the situation. We gotta keep track of all of these quests simultaneously. So we gotta figure out what's wrong with our dog, we've gotta go find a banned book, and we've gotta unite the armies of Storm in order to face the many evils that are currently ahead of us. Alright, let's add another quest, this time with our brother!
Clive.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Joshua, what's wrong?
We will find a way!
And don't say nothing.
It's not nothing. I've received word from Cyril. The Undying have found Father's will, or something akin to it.
His will. How and where?
In the crypt beneath Rosalith Castle. After Kupka was kind enough to drive out the Imperials, the Undying took the opportunity to recover what relics of the Duchy yet remained. And in the process of doing so, they found a letter from Father.
And what did it
Surprised
say?
anything survived down there.
Cyril asked that I join him in Tabor at my convenience. I have been meaning to go, but would you join me?
Absolutely. Is this where we find out that he's actually decided to leave us the throne?
I want to know what's in that letter as much as you do.
Very well. I am ready to leave when you are.
Awesome. Where there's a will, there's, some hope for an inheritance, I guess. Next up, okay, so wait a minute, let's start from the beginning. We've got our dog, we've got a banned book, we've got to unite the armies, and we've got to go investigate Father's will. Next up, it's Doris again.
Do you have a moment?
By all means.
It's my old master. Seems there's no escaping her.
Oh yeah, we never
She
did
found
deal
some
with
way
her,
to
did
send me a
we?
letter. And something else. Records from a Waluda prison. Seems they were keeping a lot of bearers there.
How did she come by such a thing?
Finding bearers always was her strong point. And it seems the cells of Balmung Dark are full of them. Foreign captives, the masterless. Bearers no one would miss. And even better for her, bearers with no one to look after them. When ether started lapping at the walls, the jailers fled.
Leaving the bearers to be liberated by whoever happened to come along next.
Sid, I'd like to believe that I've earned your trust by now. And while I'm well aware that you've forbidden Cursebreakers from traveling to Waloed, I can't let those bearers die in their cells. I'd rather risk shipwreck on the Shadow Coast than leave them to starve.
All right. She's got some conviction. We can stand with that.
We'll be needing the Enterprise if we're going to navigate the Narrow.
Does that mean...
I'm making an exception, but we travel together. And we stay no longer than we have to. Ash is an inhospitable place at the best of times. We save as many as we can, and we leave.
Wasn't always like
Thank
that, though,
you,
I assume.
Sid. There was a name in the prison register. A name from my past. Chadwick. Another of my former master's protégés. A gifted soldier, and the closest thing I had to family. The thought of him held captive in that place.
He must be very important to you.
He was. Is.
Then we find him.
The entrance to the prison lies in the shadow of Ravenwit Walls, just beyond the portcullis. We should head there as quickly as we can. I only pray there are still bearers alive to save.
As do I, Doris.
Nobody's tool. Alright, so we gotta figure out what's wrong with our dog. We gotta go find a banned and forbidden book. We've gotta go unite the armies of Storm. We've gotta go read our father's will, and we need to go rescue some bearers. Oh boy, we're doing a good job keeping track of it all so far.
Sid, I was wondering if you could help me.
It depends what with.
A bearer, but recently freed from his bonds, is keen to join the Cursebreakers. As you know, the work we do is not easy, which is why we test every volunteer's suitability. I was hoping you could oversee this one's evaluation.
I don't mind, but why this one?
Because he wants to be a scout. Our ranks are filled with men and women capable of breaking chains and putting slavers to the sword. But scouting, we're few with the nose for that, which is why we still rely so heavily on Gav. And since he accompanies you on so many of your missions, I thought you might be better placed to recognize the traits in him that we should look for in those who'd fill his boots.
Yeah, that's pretty good
Sounds
reasoning.
reasonable.
So you happy to oversee the boys' test then?
Absolutely.
One can never have too many scouts.
Truer words, Sid. I'll let the initiate know that you'll be attending his trial, and that he is to proceed directly to Northreach in readiness.
No time like the present, eh?
No time like the present. I'll await you there.
Okay. Trial and error. So we've got to go figure out what's wrong with our dog. We've got to go find a forbidden and banned book. We've got to unite the armies of Storm. We've got to go read a will. We've got to go rescue some bears, and we've got to go inspect a fella to see if he's suitable to be a scout. My brain's melting already. We can collect all three of the quests from outside as well while we're here, can't we? Oh, we can just travel to them. That's convenient. I mean, still, it's something. We're not going to right now. I thought we could go ahead and, like, accept them from there. We've only ever accepted quests from Gout, like, once. Like, normally we just travel to the locations and start the quests there. We've only, like, one time in this entire series have I ever done them from the books. Oh, good, it's the kids again. Lucas, I think Lucas loves the kids.
Sid, you have to help us.
I don't have to. I don't have to do anything.
You didn't take apart another of Mid's contraptions, did you?
No. Well, yes, but that's not what we want to talk to you about.
It's Miss Middledal. She's been acting strange. Very strange. She's barely ever around.
When she is, she acts like we aren't even there. Her head's in a crowd.
In the clouds.
That's what I said.
Kids are so
in the
dumb.
clouds.
Well, she does have a lot on her mind. When did you last see her?
Not long ago. Right after she got back from saving you from Stonear.
Then it's probably just about the Enterprise. It did take quite a battering on the way there and back.
You didn't break it, did you, Sid? You really should be more careful around Miss Mididol's inventions. Oh, don't listen to her. Even if you did break the Enterprise, you could put it back together, couldn't you?
But who's gonna put Miss Mididol back together? She seems really sad.
Why don't I go and see if I can cheer her up?
You do that? For us? She's in her dungeon.
Don't scare him. It's not a real dungeon.
Thanks for the warning.
So we've got to check on our dog. We've got to find a forbidden book. We've got to go unite the armies of Storm. We've got to check out our father's will, rescue some bears, inspect and determine whether or not someone is suitable to be a scout, and go check on Mid, who is in her dungeon, but also it's not a dungeon. Did I forget one? Are we doing good so far? I think we're keeping track of them. Let's see what this one is. Let's just keep going. Let's see how far we can get.
May I have a moment?
Of course.
It is an honor to finally speak with you. My name is Herman. I've been with the Cursebreakers for some time now, and I wish to be deployed to Ash. Any assignment will do.
Well, there are some bears there that we need to
Lands across the
rescue.
Narrow are too dangerous. I will not send good men and women to risk their lives needlessly. Why would you want to go back?
I need to retrieve something. Something important. I was raised in an orphanage. The Badbach Conservatory. Or rather, I was held captive there. It was not a place of nurture. It existed solely to turn bearer children into mindless weapons. We were tortured until we feared no pain. Tormented until our hearts turned to stone. And few ever survived long enough to become tools of the last king.
I can't imagine.
I lost so many. I can't even remember all their names. But they must be remembered. They cannot fade away, faceless and forgotten. The Institute was run with military precision. Every child measured, every name recorded, every death logged with meticulous care. Sid, allow me to travel to Ash and recover the registry so that my brothers and sisters might live on.
I'll go in your place.
You are a good friend, Herman. But the fact remains that Ash is simply too dangerous.
Sid, please, even should it cost me my life.
Too dangerous for you, Herman. But not for me.
Now we're just flexing.
I'll go to Badbach and find the registry.
You will?
I won't let you risk your life.
I don't know how to thank you.
You can start by telling me where I'll find this orphanage.
Vida Grace. Hidden in a forest, overlooking the plains.
All right. I'll see what I can find there.
May the mothers guide you.
Quest accepted. Okay, so we need to figure out what's wrong with our dog. We need to go find a forbidden lost book. We need to go unite the armies of Storm. We need to go check out our father's will. We need to go rescue some bearers, inspect someone's suitability to be a scout, figure out what's wrong with Mid, and go collect a registry of children. And also, have I been able to come up here before? I don't think so. If I had, I reckon I would have gotten whatever's inside of this chest.
What else could it be?
It's possible that I've been allowed to come up here for a long time now and I've just not bothered. But I do think that
So
if
there's a new
we
river.
had the opportunity to come up here, we would
Passing
have done
over
so
it,
before
one see the head.
and found that. Alright, I think that's all of the quests here accepted. And there's only 2 that we need to actually engage with in this region. I'm assuming those are Torgal, we need to go check on, and then another one. Unsure. Oh no, that's probably talking about the book. What about Mid? Is she not here? Is she not down in her dungeon? She is. Okay, it was just hidden for a minute. Well, let's check in on her first and see what her situation is. I'm assuming that all of these are going to have us leave the hideaway in order to do a task and come back. So we might as well go ahead and get everything cleared out here that we can do, and then we'll travel abroad and accept all of those quests. And we're going to have 10 quests going concurrently. We've never had that many before. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be fine, though. We're going to get by. We're going to survive. Hopefully.
it! I knew it! The answer was right here under my arse all along! If this doesn't steer to the skies, nothing will!
To the skies? You aren't trying to give the Enterprise wings, are you?
What else would I be doing?
The children seem to think you're avoiding them. They're worried about you. Is this really so important that you need to shut yourself away from everyone?
The Enterprise is already the fastest ship in the realm, and that's with the sea beneath her. But what if she weren't bound to the waves? What if she weren't bound to anything at all? It's not fair. The gods get the skies all to themselves, so I'm gonna do something about it. The Fallen had their chance.
About it.
They relied too much on magic, and see where that got them. But not me. I've discovered how to do it without. Well, almost. First, I need to make a prototype.
And is that a one-woman job?
Are you volunteering? I'll have you know the Enterprise is my baby. But if her godfather's offering to lend a hand, I'd be happy to take it. First, I'll need oil, and not just some old drippings from Miss Molly's spits in the Tub and Crown. Refined stuff, like they make in Ordil. Then I'll need some bone, or shell. Light, strong, preferably no longer attached to the beast it belongs to.
If it's beast bones you're after, I'm sure the curse breakers will know where you might find some.
No, they'll know where you might find some. You're the one who offered to help, remember?
Look what we've got ourselves
I'll just speak
into.
with one of the curse breakers before I set off for Old Hill. See if I can't find this bone while I'm there as well.
Has Midadol mentioned a new project yet?
Oh yes, trust me, we are in swing of a new project. We are well underway, so that's something to keep track of now. I mean, we can check on what's wrong with Mid, because nothing's wrong with Mid, and add help Mid with her new insane adventure. What's wrong, Torgal?
What is it? What do you see out there? I never did ask where you got that anklet of yours.
Girl dog.
From Sid, that's why. On the day he brought him home.
That long ago?
And you're only thinking to ask this now? Sid saw that the pup had a habit of gnawing on his leg, since you ask. Clap that there iron on him to keep him from doing it.
What was wrong, boy?
I'll take like as not. Must have been hard on the poor whelp losing his loving masters at such a young age. Doubly hard in being a frost wolf, torn away from his icons and all. Sid would always tell him, you want my iron gone, you find what it is you're looking for. I reckon what he was looking for was you.
I'm sorry, Torgal. Sorry for making you wait so long. Let's get that thing off you.
Doesn't sound like he wants it off.
Indeed. You miss Sid as much as the rest of us, don't you?
I appreciate the subtitles when he barks.
Quick, aren't you? Glad you've been paying attention.
Not nearly as much as you have, Lady Karen.
Aye, good thing and all. It's not like Gav would have kept him in nuts and rubbed his belly these past 10 summers.
Your kindness is appreciated. You've been a good friend to him.
Only because he doesn't talk back like the rest of you. Go on now.
Where to then, Torgal?
Off on an adventure with Torgal. One more thing to do here before we set out yet again. Should we stop in and see what they're doing? I mean, I think we probably have some things we could build here, don't we?
To what do I owe the honor?
Oh, wait. No, I remember. Aren't we saving up to build like a super weapon of some variety? Yeah, no, we need 3 orichalcum, some dark steel, and some primitive... Never mind then. Yeah, that's what we're waiting on. Oh, there's something to do up there still. Oh, and we're still following Torgal here, I see.
Torgal? Where are you taking
For some reason, I expected Torgal to just leave the hideaway entirely. Like, we'd be following him all around the map.
I need a little bit more than that, boy. Do you have a better hint for me? Unless you've already given me one. Back on the rear deck, you were looking west, toward Rosaria.
Ah.
Why don't we try the rookery? I haven't been to the island in almost 20 years.
So that's going to be like a new
The
area.
port is older then. Fingers crossed the old mooring is still there.
That'll be fun, because if it was a place we'd been before, he wouldn't have said that, you know, it's been 20 years, obviously. I guess now we just have to check in. Oh, gosh, there's two. Okay, well, we've been putting that one off for the longest time. This must be the young gentleman who wants to be a scout.
All right, Sid. Come to buy us around, have you?
Only if you earn it. Mid needs a piece of light but durable bone for her next
Never
project.
mind.
You've encountered your share of beasts on your travels across the realm. Any ideas?
This is about
Most
Mid.
bones are the same. Whack 'em hard enough and they'll break. If it's durability you're looking for, shell will serve you better. You know what an adamantus is?
I do. And I know to give them a wide berth. Will any old adamantus do?
Well, with shells, the older the harder. There's a rumour of an ancient adamantus down in Carava, near Old Bidza, or what's left of the village anyway. But don't expect to make quick work of the bastard. There's a reason it's lived as long as it has.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Interesting. All right. Well, we've got that little bit of information, and that probably puts a mark on our map, which is useful. Vivian. How have you been? I've not been putting you off. I've just been trying to do everything else first.
And I'll be happy to help you find the book you're looking for.
Thank you, Clive. But tracking it down will not be easy. Are you sure?
Please. You have always granted me your wisdom and insight whenever I asked. It's only right that I return the favor. Or at least attempt to.
You are too kind. Alas, what I ask of you is rather more trying than delivering the odd lecture. I spoke with Harpocrates to see if he had any inkling as to where another copy might be found, but perhaps it is best that you hear the details from him.
If you say so.
Forgive me, Clive, for asking this of you. But this book, it set me on the path to becoming who I am today. Its importance cannot be overstated.
And we're not done here yet. Time to go talk to the wise old man, whose name I always say wrong. So we're just not even going to... Harpocrates. Harpocrates. Harpo Marx. Hey, there we go. He's one of the Marx brothers. Harpo. That's the one who was in I Love Lucy. That remains the only of the Marx Brothers things I've ever seen in my life. Harpo Marx is in I Love Lucy, and that's my entire familiarity with the trio. I think there was three of them. Harpo,
Clive,
Groucho,
my boy.
and
What a pleasure it is to
Stinko.
see
I don't... Something like that.
Hippocrates. There's something I need to ask you. I've been charged with locating a book called From a Distance.
Then you seek a rare gem indeed. One whose name I had not thought to hear from your lips. You've been talking to Vivian.
Right as always. But she didn't seem keen to tell me very much. I take it she didn't like what you had to say.
And yet I gather it did naught to dissuade her. Clive, if the young professor has tasked you with obtaining a copy, I fear she asks the impossible. The executors would not allow it.
The executors?
Coveters of Secrets. A clandestine organization committed to the collection and intenebration of forbidden texts and technology.
Illuminati.
One such text being the tome Vivian seeks, chronicling as it does the true history of the enslavement of bearers. A tale which could overturn the established order were it ever to become widely known.
You know a lot about it, buddy.
So rumor has it. I've never actually read.
That's what I was implying, and he immediately addressed it.
How is it that I haven't heard of this organization?
Why, secrecy is the executor's watchword. They lurk in the shadows, emerging only to seize that which must be seized. be it books, inventions, or people, before disappearing again, leaving nary a trace.
Which would explain why Vivian's copy was snatched from her grasp not long after she found it.
By the hand of the executors, yes.
But what drives them? Self-interest or ideology?
A fine question. Sadly, all that is known of the executors can be recounted in a single breath. You may just as soon ask me of their origins, numbers, or the identities of their leaders. Any answer I give would be pure speculation.
Then my hunt was doomed from the first. What was Vivian expecting? That I'd pluck it from thin air?
Not from thin air, no.
Probably.
From ash. Rumors of the executors are rife among the scholars of Storm, but rather less so across the strait. I have a friend. Well, I had a friend in the village of Garnick, a collector of rare tomes, upon which subject we would oft correspond. Alas, I have heard naught from him since the skies fell dark. And no doubt he too has turned.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
But though he did not mention it by name, it is possible that a surviving copy of From a Distance yet rests upon one of his many shelves, quietly awaiting discovery. If you were, by some chance, able to save even a single book from the poor man's library, I know his soul would rest easier.
Very well. When I next find myself in Waloed, I'll be sure to pay Garnick a visit.
We now have 3 quests awaiting us in Waloed, which is still the funniest named place in the world. I don't know who came up with that one, but they need a raise just for the pure silliness of it all. Waloed. I think that's everything we've got to do around these parts, though. I think that's pretty much everything queued up, if I'm not mistaken. So now what we can do is you'd think we'd go complete some of these 8 quests that we've now accepted, but there are 11 available to us, so we're going to go accept the other 3. And we're going to start by doing so right here, even though we could just fast travel around the world.
You look at the list, do you?
Yeah, let me have a look at these alien reports. We've got Under New Management, and then we have Lines in the Sand 2 and the Duty Undying 2. Nothing to do in the Kingdom of Waloed, which is funny to consider a kingdom because everyone there is dead. There's no one left alive. I guess we'll go with Under New Management 2. We'll kind of start off there and see where that gets us. It could be there's other things for us to do here that are directly related to our current ongoing quests that we've already accepted, and if that's the case, we're going to completely disregard those. All we want to do is accept these quests. I don't even know if I
mentioned where in Northreach he'd be testing this recruit.
Oh yeah, see, so we've got a recruit to test here. This is where the recruitment test is taking place. So, you know, we have a lot of quests to keep track of. This will be the scout individual. But we're just going to start the quest. Remember, we want to get all 11 queued up because that's funny. That's the reason we want to do it. So we're not even going to stick around here to kind of see this through. We just want to start Under New Management, and then we're going to bail. How are you doing, Isabel?
Do you have a moment, Clive?
What is
Not really.
It's the Duke, unsurprisingly. His Eminence has assumed full control of the garrison and put every able-bodied man to work on the fortifications. The town was left all but unguarded, so Philippe was compelled to form a citizen's watch to fill the void. And though my dear boys have been characteristically willing to assist him in this, they want for bodies. So I was wondering if you would lend them your strength, that the people of Northreach might sleep easier, if only for a few nights.
Sure.
Of course. Whatever you need.
Thank you, Clive. What would I do without you? Philippe told me he had men stationed at...
Where can I find the mistress of this establishment?
Here, my lady.
Hey, it's Sabine!
Do I have the pleasure of speaking?
She's force-sensitive.
My name is Sabine, and it is my displeasure to be the daughter of the Duke of Oriflamme, who I understand is causing you and your town no small amount of trouble. I wish to speak to you about what might be done.
Very well. Let us speak. I trust you'll forgive me, Clive.
Absolutely. Our conversation can wait.
If you're wondering, we did see her arguing with the Duke
you know,
in the previous installment of this quest line.
Man,
Oh, is that her father?
in objecting to his every action.
I didn't catch
Indeed,
that.
I owe you my thanks for continuing to argue against his reckless plans. Yet I fear he is not one to be swayed by
She has a
reason.
wacky hat.
No. He must be made to face the consequences.
I like that her hair matches her clothes, though. It's a bold
Would
decision.
make him do this?
That's not her hair. Wait a minute. That's
Myself
like
and
that's still
several
part of the
other
hat. 'Cause she has
like-minded
blonde hair,
individuals.
obviously.
Were
I thought
you
the
to
back
join
of her hair
us,
was just
we would surely
dyed
have the
purple.
strength to drive him from Northreach for good.
Does that not seem a trifle?
Yeah, it's just like tied off.
Drastic.
Drastic action is precisely what is called for. Unless you are content to see your people downtrodden and dispossessed. My father would have it that citizens exist only to serve the Empire. That they should be forced to make every sacrifice to ensure her revival. But he is wrong. It is not the people who must serve the Empire, but the Empire who must serve her people.
Amen, sister. Preach.
He's always been like this. Scornful of the opinions of anyone he judged beneath him. But he cannot be allowed to ride roughshod over the common folk any longer. We must fight him by all possible means.
Absolutely.
Fight him. No. My purpose is to quell the tension in Northreach, not to stoke it. Respectfully, my lady. Our only chance of saving this town depends upon every one of us uniting against our common enemy. Your father and his followers included. While I understand your frustrations, I cling to the hope that he may yet be won round.
False hope, I assure you. But I see that your mind is made up. I shall bother you no longer. If you will extend me the same courtesy, I bid you good day.
She certainly has spirit.
Indeed. But unfortunately for us, that spirit is only likely to harden the Duke's resolve, which may be enough to seal the fate of this town. Not that she cares. This is all about her and her father.
Families.
I'm sorry, where were we? Ah, yes. I was about to tell you of Philippe's plans for the town watch, but perhaps it's better that you heard them from him. I believe he's in the market, if you'd be so kind as to seek him out.
Right away.
It's just a pity I cannot join you. I'd like to see the two of you in action.
Oh, I bet you would, wouldn't you? I bet you would. Look, I kind of zoned out for that entire discussion. I'm planning a remodel of the game room that I'm going to go ahead and tell you all right now. I had no idea he was with us. First off, thanks for joining us on this adventure, little brother. I really do appreciate it. It's probably because we started a quest with him. We'll have to deal with that later. Okay, I've got a different story for you now. That was my brother. He came over and we were yeah, hold on. Let's focus on what's important, which is accepting another quest. So we're going to go to the Dalamil Inn. Now, my brother came over to watch Attack on Titan about a week ago, and he left this little, like, meat and cheese charcuterie thing. It's not a charcuterie thing at all. But it was like a meat and cheese fancy food thing in my fridge. And after several days, I realized he wasn't coming back for it, so I went ahead and ate it. And then he was just calling to ask me if I still had it and if he could come get it. And I was like, dude, that was going bad in the fridge. I ate it. He's like, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. And then the other story was about the game room. We'll come back around to that one, though. There's no rush right now. Let's go ahead and talk to Lubor.
Here to help me pack? Thanks, but I'll be traveling light. I'm almost finished already, in fact.
You're really going to go through with this, then?
I am. But before I go, there is one small issue I'd like your assistance with. Well, two, in fact.
If it's within my power to help you, I will.
It's the children. I refuse to let them share in my disgrace. And if I leave them here, they surely will. Our friendship would see them ostracized forever. But I can't take them with me either. I can think of only one place where they are certain to be safe and provided for and loved. The hideaway.
I will take the children.
Of course. The children would be more than welcome.
Thank you, Clive. I will not forget this.
Lubor, are you still here?
What is it, Ferda? You look pale.
There's been a flood in the Velcroy, a damn big one. The League of Outlaws encampment was completely submerged in ether.
What?
It's funny that the Outlaws had a
Bastards has
league.
turned, and they're headed this way.
Bandits are one thing, but Akashic bandits are quite another. The town guard won't stand a chance against them. We need to evacuate. There's no time to lose. Further, gather the men. The Akashic may strike at any moment. We must make ready to cover the townspeople's escape. Well, what are you waiting for?
Yes, my lord.
Does anyone else have trouble when you hear someone say, "What are you waiting for"?
change of plan.
Do you just hear that song
Children,
start
stay
playing
with
in
me
your
for
head?
now. I need you to find Conrad and Natalie. Tell them to prepare for a full and immediate evacuation. Understood.
This feels very pressing. Like, we
what I
need to
can to
stay here and
convince
see
everyone
this
else.
through.
Wish me luck.
We're not going to, though. We're about to immediately leave. What are you waiting for? Love me like you do. Love me like you do. That's a crazy remix of the song that I would love to hear. Okay, there's one last quest for us to accept, and then we'll have them all queued up at the same time, which is just completely wacky and unnecessary, and I'm kind of here for it, you know what I'm saying? Should I talk about the game room now? Let's see, where exactly is the acceptance of this quest going to take place? Inside of here with this fella. I know what this is all about. I know this place. Oh, cool, we're getting like a cutscene.
Your Grace, my lord, I trust your journey was not overly onerous.
Cyril, you found a letter from Father.
Oh, okay, we're just doing this first, I guess.
I have it here.
This better not end the quest, because so help me.
If you would do us the honor, my lord.
I know that I ask much of you in this coming war, but I see no other way to secure a future for our duchy and our family. Yet even should we succeed in subduing the savages and winning back Drake's breath, the threat of the Blight still looms, and only with all Rosarius striving as one might we last overcome it. I have made plans to see us through, but such are the obstacles that stand in our way, it shall likely fall to you to continue my work. I know that you have the strength, the courage, and the will to do so. This shall be an arduous inheritance, and so I offer you another, that you might be reminded of the love and the faith that I hold for you both, your father.
An inheritance?
It would seem the late Archduke penned this missive shortly before his passing.
The day before we left for Phoenix Gate.
What are these plans he spoke of?
His plans for the duchy, your grace. Your father entrusted them to my predecessor, the former bearer of the Burning Quill, who entrusted them in turn to me. The complete emancipation of bearers is their stated aim. But your father's dream did not end there. His Grace also spoke of building hospices to care for those stricken by the curse, and the founding of a new university to further the development of non-magical technologies. With the blight spreading ever more widely across the twins, Archduke Elwyn saw this as the only means of securing Rosaria's survival.
He wished to see men and bearers treated as equals. To see centuries of common wisdom overturned. Small wonder he did not think it achievable within his lifetime.
But he thought it achievable nonetheless. Had he not, he would never have written this message. Nor would he have entrusted his vision to his most faithful aides, those who would have stood with you, shielded you from the machinations of the less benevolent personages at court.
It's a pity only they are still with us.
'Tis true that those most loyal to your father were the first to suffer the Duchess's wrath. But one at least remains, and she has come bearing gifts.
What do you mean?
Mayhap it is better that she explain, my lord. After all, the duties entrusted to me by my predecessor extended only to recovering His Grace's will and arranging a meeting with the one who might execute it, or a part of it at least.
And where is this woman?
She awaits you in the archive, your grace.
Thank you, Cyril.
But do you have any other quests for us while we're here? Because it looked like there was a quest waiting for us in here. We're just gonna have to, like, double back. It's gonna be really awkward. We're gonna have to walk out the door and then turn around and immediately walk back in. Also, we want to do this one last, right? Because I feel like if we finish this one now, we won't have our brother with us on the rest of these many adventures that we're on. Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that. Did you have anything else for us?
Marquis, if you have a moment.
I do. I did earlier too, but you made me leave.
One of our brethren lately journeyed across the strait in order to pursue a new avenue of inquiry in our ongoing investigation. He sent an owl some while ago, but we have heard naught from him since.
Was he surveying another fallen ruin?
No. The object of his study was a savior cult that has arisen in Ash in recent years. We believe it may have some connection to the Circle of Malleus, an ancient religion that worshipped Ultima as its god. By gaining an understanding of this new faith, we hoped to learn more of the Circle's original beliefs.
And so you sent one of your brothers to Ash? A continent teeming with orcs and Akashic?
Fully cognizant of the risks, yes. I entrusted the mission to one of the most able of our order, the Third Chair, a master of the arts of combat and survival both. Though he has been silent for some days now, I have thus far refrained from sending any others in search of him, lest they be lost in turn. Yet, it seemed only right to inform you of the situation, given your unique experience of the perils of Ash. For as you so earnestly advised me, it would not do to abandon a man to his fate, when he might yet be saved.
It looks like this man is gaining some wisdom from us at last. Remember before, he actually argued, for some reason, that it was better to send people who could not defend themselves off on these adventures without anyone who could defend. A completely asinine line of thinking.
It would not. But Ash is a big place. Can you be any more specific?
Perhaps. The last owl I received from him mentioned a village where he had heard the cult were wont to assemble.
We know of a village.
That was its name.
Well, we know of two.
In the southern reaches of Waloed. If aught ill befell him, I expect it did so there.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
You are much too kind, my lord. Go then, with my hopes, and may the firebird's flame ever burn in your heart.
So we now have how many quests that we need to attend to on Ash? Which I feel like is what we should do first. Because we've now managed to accept 11 separate quest lines.
This really is an offshoot of the Circle of Malleus, then.
It's interesting.
Let's concentrate on finding the Third Chair first, shall we?
It's interesting that Joshua, who's not present with me at the moment, there he is, he does have dialogue for this quest, as if he was meant to be with us on it. I wonder if that's just a situation where, let's say we were doing a side quest without him, it just wouldn't be there, but because he's following us for this other side quest, he happens to have the dialogue, or would he be following us around regardless right now? I genuinely do not know. What I do know is we have this quest to attend to, aiming high, we have this quest to attend to, lines in the sand too. We also have, if we go across the sea, we have to open up the big map for that. Oh my gosh, look at the map. Everywhere. Basically, anywhere you could possibly want to go, there's something waiting for us. But I think we'll start over here in Ash, and I think we'll start next time. Yeah, an entire episode of nothing but accepting quest lines. Many of which I doubt I could... Okay, you know what? Here we go. Let's see if I can remember. We need to follow Torgal and see what he wants to see. We need to go and find a man in Ash who has a book that is banned and forbidden, maybe, and also he's possibly dead. Unite the armies of Storm. Figure out whether or not this scout's going to be worth his salt. Rescue some bearers also from Ash. Find some material for Mid. Next time! Goodbye.